Hello, a warm welcome from Birdseye and the Green Cuisine team. My name's Andy Daniels and we're here to cook off some fantastic products looking at the meatless range and also the chickenless range from the Green Cuisine portfolio. The Birdseye team and the Green Cuisine team are cooking some fantastic products for delivery and food service. We're here to support LASA as we move into the public sector plant-based week on May the 17th. And we also look forward to working with LASA in schools throughout the country moving forward. So, what is it that's interesting about Green Cuisine? Well, we have our meatless products that are derived from a very special pea that packs full of protein. That's interesting because as a key sponsor for Team GB, it helps our elite athletes create a regeneration of muscle mass retention from all of that protein, which is good for the little athletes in your playgrounds. And for the chicken products, the proteins are derived from wheat-based items. So both deliver great flexibility, great flavor and functionality. And as we cook some great on-trend products for you now, we'll have some great fun and learn a lot about Green Cuisine along the way. Okay, so we're gonna cook our first dish, which is using the meatless sausage product from Green Cuisine. As we said earlier, fantastic variety of pea that really packs a punch in terms of the amount of protein that's delivered in the product. So we're gonna do a nice Boston bean sausage phyllo pie, which essentially is a really tasty bean product that's got a nice sauce, tomato-based sauce for the kids, a little bit of barbecue flavor, but nothing too spicy, and a great chopped sausage through there, crispy phyllo, served baked in the oven. Fantastic flavor. So what's in the dish? Well, we've got our diced onion, our haricot beans, white beans, so they're the baked beans, but without the sauce. So we've got a nice natural product, the kidney beans, and we're gonna roast some squash. Bit of blue Peter coming on here. I've actually prepared the squash in advance and roasted it off. Well, you get a bit of a general idea for what we've got here is a nice dice, just under an inch dice of squash. Again, roasting it in a hot oven, 185 degrees just beforehand, just allows a little bit of that sugar to come through. And as you can see, we've got some great color on there. And then tomatoes, tomato passata, a little bit of brown, bit of barbecue sauce, touch of garlic, as I say, a very mild barbecue spice, just for a back flavor, and tomato puree. So first job, gloves on, let's crack in. So we're gonna crack on. We've got our oven preheated to 185 degrees. And we're going to be using a couple of different things here to help us along the way. We've got a crisp fry basket that allows us to get a nice even cook all the way onto the product. And then we lay out our products here. So fantastic sausage, meatless sausage from Green Cuisine. And that should be enough. What I'm trying to do with this recipe is create an approximate gastronome size. It's not really worth cooking anything that's smaller than that. It's got to be real in real terms for you guys in your kitchens. So into the oven it goes. And again, 185 degrees, so quite a nice hot oven. Helps us get color and texture on the product. And we're going to set that for about 12 minutes. Away we go. Right, now to the sauce. So we're going to sweat down our onions in olive oil, just a little olive oil. We've got approximately about 25 grams of olive oil. We're going to retain a little bit of that oil. So we're looking at multiple portions, very little oil in this recipe. So we take a touch of the oil to sweat down and begin the sauce, like so. And the rest of that oil we're going to retain just for brushing a little bit onto that phyllo so that it crisps up when we put it back in the oven. So our onions go in the pan. And we want to just sweat these down as we go along. Our garlic goes in. Like so. Turn the heat up. So all we're really doing is just releasing some sugars in our onion. This could actually be done in the oven as well. For those of you that don't have induction or gas, you can actually fry this off in this side of the oven as well. But we're doing it here on the induction hob. Get a little bit of colour. So first thing in, our onion and garlic. And then we're going to add our spice and our tomato puree shortly. And essentially make a little tomato-based barbecue sauce. So after a few minutes of softening off our onion, we add just a touch of our spice. We need to retain a little bit of the barbecue flavour just to sprinkle onto our phyllo when we layer up the sheets later on in the session. So we're just going to release some of the flavours from those spices and then add our tomato puree. And then we want to cook out our tomato puree. And very quickly we'll see a sauce starting to emerge. We can turn the heat down and allow the tomato passata and chopped tomatoes to cook through and bring to a little simmer. So we sweat that down. Now we'll add our chopped tomato. Just goes in like so. Quite fortunate to be using a bit of induction here, which is quite a quick way of sautéing and frying, which is quite good for me when I'm making a quick sauce. And then a bit of passata through there, approximately 1 litre of passata. We want to just bind these beans and the meatless sausages from Green Cuisine just so that they have a nice level of moisture before we make this bake. So a really tasty meatless sausage bake in the oven with some great flavour in the background from the barbecue spice. So we'll just turn that up. We want that just to simmer now for a few minutes just to combine all those flavours. We can put in actually a small amount of our barbecue sauce, which is on the recipe sheet. All of these recipes are going to be available in recipe card format, and I'm sure will be available electronically online as well. So as I said, I intend to kind of create a real term volume for you. So rather than just cooking one solitary portion, I think it's important that we do something that you do in your kitchens up and down the country in those schools, which is showing you a real kind of realistic amount of product. So this recipe should definitely generate a gastronome, which I'm sure is getting up to sort of infant-sized portions of probably 25 to 30 portions. So quite a cost-effective recipe as well. Just give it a bit of a wipe down there. We've got a lively sauce bubbling away. What we can do with that, if we need to, is just let that down with a little bit of water, just a touch. And also, I've left a little bit of the water in the beans, in the red beans. You can see a touch. That's actually flavour. Most canned product or carton product, kidney beans, haricot beans, don't really have any salt in them now. So it's actually just a nice flavoured water, which helps with good back flavour as well. So we'll now add our kidney beans and our haricot beans. I think that's the one thing that kids do quite like is a bean, either in a chili. My kids love a chili, make it quite mild for them. And they obviously love their beans as well. So this is just an interesting way of getting those products into them, but also getting that fantastic Green Cuisine meatless sausage that just packs so much flavour. So as you can see, we're creating a nice sauce there. It's a good thickness. It'll allow our sausage to just sit in that sauce. Then we put the phyllo on. And then the last piece is our pre-roasted squash. Again, just give that a little bit of sweetness. but all natural, of course. There we go. So rather than leave our meatless sausages whole, what we're going to do is we're going to cut them into half, and then we'll show you what we do with the phyllo. We're going to lay the phyllo out and then basically just layer it up with a little bit of spice, scrunch it up, put it on top and bake it into a fantastic crispy golden bake through the oven. Just check on those sausages. Okay, so there we have a fantastic green cuisine sausage. If I just break these open and show you just the level of moisture that we have here, it's fantastic. So nice and succulent, very, very warm, but a great, nice crust, but not too deep. So really easy to work with, gives great satisfaction when you're eating it, but superb flavor. So all I'm going to do with these is just cut them onto an angle and just drop them in to our gastronome, like so. And spread them around. I'm cutting these on a biased angle just from a presentation perspective, but you can cut them straight across. I just think they look quite pretty, like this. There we go. So, fantastic product. Great flavour. And then we'll take our sauce. As I say, we can take more sausage in this tray. It's really up to you how much you want to put in regards to the portions that you require. The sausages are going to be made available in food service size outers as well. So you won't need to see these smaller packets that we're using just to show you for this session. So there we go. So that's our base to our Boston bean bake. We're now going to just top it with the phyllo, which is a very simple process. We're going to take one sheet, there we go, and another. We'll do another set over here as well. And with that little bit of olive oil that we retained, we're just going to just very lightly brush the phyllo pastry. As you can see here, I move this to one side, you get a better view. So just a very light brush. For the whole recipe, for all these multiple portions that we're using, creating, we're only using about 25 grams of oil. So quite a sympathetic oil content really for the little athletes. So, bit of oil on there, pinch of our very, very mild spice goes on the top, like so. And then we just take our next layer of phyllo, and that goes on the top. And then you can see, like a window pane, that small amount of oil and the spice just shines through. And then what we're going to do is just, again, a very small amount of this oil here, just flake over. And that just allows us just to catch a little bit of heat in the oven. And then we just repeat that process, but then we just grab one and just scrunch it up like so and pop it on. And that's quite a nice rustic lid for our bake. We don't have to cover all of the pie. I think it looks nice with gaps in between. I think if we just do 2 more of those, we'll have our phyllo pastry crunchy lid on, ready to go. And then we're almost ready to put it into the oven. Again, the oven's same temperature, 185 degrees. And then finally, just a little bit more spice over the top of that phyllo pastry. And there we have it, ready to go in the oven. Our Boston bean green cuisine meatless sausage bake in a rather large bulk portion to give a sense of reality to you guys in the kitchens up and down the country. And in the oven it goes. Okay, it's been 12 minutes. Our green cuisine meatless sausage Boston bean spiced phyllo bake is now ready. Let's get it out of the oven and serve it up. There we go. So as you can see, nice and crispy and tasty. Got a nice bit of moist sauce through there with those lovely succulent green cuisine meatless sausages. Let's put a bit of chopped parsley on there, serve it up and give it a try. There we go. Enjoy. Meatless sausage, green cuisine, spicy Boston bean bake, but not that spicy for our little athletes. Thank you. Okay, for our second dish, we're going to use some chickenless dippers, which are a fantastic product. As we said in our previous recipe, the protein from these is derived from wheat, so great flexibility, great taste. We want to show you something that's a little bit accessible and a bit more modern for the young kids today. I think most people are more familiar with their children eating noodles in some of the high street offers and indeed some of the great noodles that you can see in the supermarket. So we want to do something that's a great kind of introduction for kids to try and use a meatless product or incorporate a meatless product into their diet that has both great flavor, is very, very modern on trend, is great fun to eat, but has great texture from those chickenless dippers, amazing flavor, and such a great texture from the coating. The coating is so special. So what do we got to do? Well, we're gonna crisp fry our, through the oven, green cuisine chickenless dipper. And then the rest of the ingredients for the dish, very, very simple. We've got some Birdseye peas, beautiful, fresh and sweet, and some finely shredded peppers. Kids really find peppers quite accessible to eat. They really take them on board and enjoy them. So we've got yellow, orange and red. So great color against the green pea from Birdseye. And we're going to use a medium egg thread noodle. And just for a bit of chef's poetic license, probably not something that you're going to be incorporating, but we'll just top it with just a bit of crisp pak choy just by way of garnish, and hoisin sauce. Again, probably one of the most accessible sauces that you can get from an Asian perspective that really sits well with the palate for a young child's palate. And a touch of oil just to fry off our peppers. So really, really simple. First job then, we're gonna get our chicken dippers into the oven after we've started to steep our noodles, which again, medium thread egg noodle. If you wanted to and be completely vegan, you could use a rice noodle that will be compliant for that vegan diet, but we're gonna use this as a vegetarian option. So we're gonna put our egg noodles into hot boiling water. And as soon as they're in, we're gonna put the lid back on, turn them off and pull them to the side. So they will just sit now quite nicely while we get cracking and get our chickenless dippers in. Again, we're going to use our fry basket that allows us to get a lot of condensation off the product as it's coming from frozen to cooked. So we get a nice crisp texture, not only on the top, but on the bottom. Again, if you don't have these, then there's not really a big problem. You can use a flat tray with a bit of parchment, a nice hot preheated oven will still give you a good, excellent product from the Birdseye green cuisine chickenless dipper. Spread them out nice and evenly, and they'll go in the oven for about 8 minutes, which is enough time for us to sweat our peppers, warm our peas, and then strain off our noodles and make this dish. Again, we want to make a fair amount for you so that it's relative. I don't see any point in making one dish, one portion, So we're showing you in real time how simple it is to create a fair volume. Okay. So I say nice preheated oven, 185, 195 degrees. The key is to cook hot and quick with these crispy items. Keeps the moisture in, gets a great texture on the outside. Okay, so another pan. We're going to warm that pan up now, put it on, and just use a small amount of the olive oil just to warm the pan through, and then take our other ingredients, which are, as you can see, 1 yellow, 1 red, and 1 orange pepper, finely shredded with all the seeds taken out and shredded up. This could come pre-sliced from a veg supplier that you have nominated in your region. And a pea, again, I've had these and they're defrosted, so they won't take as much time to warm through, but you could technically, from a hot noodle, put a frozen pea straight in. So back to our pan. Get a bit of heat through that pan. And all we really want to do is just let some of that sweetness come out of the pepper and just soften it off. We don't really want too much colour going on there. As I say, this is quite a fun, interactive dish. Noodles becoming more and more widespread. Kids are eating these and enjoying them all over the country. So in with our peppers. Again, you can hear that sizzle. We don't want that to be too coloured, but we certainly want to get some heat through them and wash them through with flavour. We're not going to put any salt in this, no pepper. We're just going to get those great flavours from the chickenless dipper, the sweetness from the pepper, and the great colour from the peas. And then we'll show you now just how easy it is with these noodles just to soften them off. And that's really all they need. In the period of time it takes to cook our chickenless dippers, these will be softened off, nice and loose and separated. We'll just drain the water off and we'll just toss them with the hoisin sauce and the peas. I shall try this time not to get any on my chef's jacket. As you can see, I was cursed by the spicy bean sauce earlier on. So we are cooking in real time here for you. And then we go with our peas. And say just a few minutes to let that warm through. We can turn it down a bit now. We'll get a little bit of moisture and sweet juice coming out of those sweet Birdseye peas. You can see fantastic colour. Really, really good colour here. It's going to be a great eye appeal for those kids when they serve their noodle dish. Oodles of noodles, we've called it. My kids particularly love noodles, they're a favourite. So what we'll do now is, in terms of our chickenless dippers in cook time, we're probably 3 minutes away. So I'll just take the time just to drain this off. Under normal service circumstances, you will probably take this pan over to the sink and drain it. You may even have these pre-done and you may elect to steam them to warm them through, which just takes a stage away. But from my perspective, I just wanted to show you them cooked warm and quick. So there we go. Our noodles are soft, draining off. I'll move this water out of the way. We can see all the heat coming off those peppers and peas. It's time to add our noodles. I'm going to just retain the noodles in this pan and drop the peas and the peppers in from the other pan. And then we'll add our soy sauce. There we go. And then just a case of stirring that through. And we see we've got great colour, such a vibrant colour there. And that's going to sort of sit and complement exceptionally well the chickenless dippers that are going to be out of the oven very quickly. Our final stage for this is just to drizzle hoisin sauce into the product. We'll save a little bit for the top. We'll bring that round. Mix it all in. And I think nothing more satisfying than just a really, really nice, tasty plate of noodles and just topping them with that extra value and that extra delight of those chickenless dippers. Right, so lid on, we'll keep the heat in. And we'll get our tray. Going to use something slightly smaller. I've not cooked a huge amount of noodles. I did half a packet approximately, 3 cakes of noodle. So we're just going to use a 2/3 gastronome, but just to show you the amount of volume. So the alarm's gone. We've got our very quick cook time on our chickenless dippers. Let's get them out and we'll get this served up. So as you can see, nothing sticking. We're using the nice tray basket here. But what you've got is a nice even colour. They're all beautiful on both sides, top and bottom. We're getting no wastage, nothing sticking to the tray. And what you'll hear is that element of crisp coating, which is fantastic. The crisp coating on these chickenless dippers is very, very special. And if I get a close-up, we can look at just how flavoursome and the level of moisture in these wheat protein chickenless dippers from Green Cuisine really are. Okay, so let's get serving. So we'll take our noodles, which we've kept warm, took no cooking whatsoever. And then we'll put them onto the tray. Spread those out like so. But you can see we've got great flavour. Smells gorgeous, I have to say. And then depending on how many we've got, we can do them in little batches, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then everyone gets their portion, or even 4 potentially. Like so. So you're able to then go straight from the counter, drop off the chickenless dipper onto the side of the plate. And there we have a really simple yet on-trend offer of chickenless dippers with hoisin noodles. And I suppose for a little chef's poetic or theatrical license, you might not do this in the school, but you could certainly add a little bit of pak choy just as a garnish. So yeah, so we'll do a portion. Now this portion is for 8 to 12-year-old children. So it's not a huge plateful, but just enough so we can get our noodles as a seat, easy to serve, get our greens, our peppers and our sweet peas from Birdseye, like so. Again, the one thing that I think this has is a sense of real modern food. Really, really interesting food for kids today. This is something that's gonna really make a lot of fun at mealtime in your refectory or dining hall. Let's see what you can do with your noodles, with your chicken dippers. Please interact on our social media page, follow us on Instagram, show us your pictures, show us what you can do. We look forward to it. Thank you very much. Okay, so our final dish is a classic in every sense of the word. It's using our Green Cuisine meatless burger, packed full of great pea protein. It's a lovely, thick burger. It's got a great level of moisture and great flavour. And we're going to do this as a classic icon burger with a nice relish, a lovely burger sauce and a brioche bun. But this is aimed at the children from 12 plus years, so into secondary school. So we can afford to be a little bit more indulgent, although we've got a lot of fresh ingredients in there from salad, onion, lettuce and tomato. And we're going to do some skin on fries to get that extra flavour and fibre into their diet. And we'll also be baking those in the oven. So we are doing without the need for a fryer and oil into the diet as well. So what have we got? Well, as we said, we've got our fantastic Green Cuisine Powered by Plants meat-free burgers. Lovely colour. They've almost got a bar marking already. So they've got that suggestion of charred bar marking grilling. I'm going to do 2. I might actually cook a second and pack it just to show you and cut them. So I'll build 2 burgers, but we will cook 4. And then just for ease on this fry basket, I'm just going to put our portions of frozen fries straight out of the freezer onto the basket as well. And this is an approximate 12 to 15 minute cook in a hot commercial oven. I'm using a combination oven. It's a Combitherm oven, in fact. But so straight in the oven, on with the timer, and in we go. So in this burger, we said we wanted to create a nice experience, a classic burger. We're going to use a brioche bun. Brioche buns used to be a bit of a rare commodity and used in very sort of high-end treat-style burgers, but these buns now become readily available quite at a fair price point and just add that extra dimension of flavour to the offer. So we will be using the brioche bun for this icon burger build. And what we'll do nearer to service is we'll just toast the buns. Reason for that is it just crisps them up, seals the slice, the open slice, and when we come to sauce it, it just allows that burger not to go soggy and just puts a little bit of warmth and just sort of adds a bit of softness back into the inside of the dough itself. And then very, very simply, just a fresh crisp leaf, gem leaf here, but you could use a shredded pre-prepared iceberg lettuce. And for colour, we're going to just do a fine slice of red onion and a few slices of fresh tomato. The key with any burger really in the build is about the things that you add to it. We've got that great centerpiece from the plant-based meatless burger from Green Cuisine, but to complement that, on the bottom of the bun, once we've toasted it, we'll add a bit of an old favourite, but not used so much anymore, but I think really nice is a corn relish, so a sweet corn relish. And then we're going to use a burger sauce. Again, these can be found with reduced levels of sugar and salt. And this burger sauce can be made in-house with a very low-fat mayonnaise, but we're going to put it on quite sparingly. But as I say, it just helps in that build. Right, so as I said, we're going to just give these buns that we've split, these brioche buns, just on the cut inside, just going to give them a slight warm toast. So if you've got a griddle or a grill pan, you can do this. I'm just going to just drop them down onto this pan, warm them through. Great timing. The oven's alarming. So let's pull out those Green Cuisine burgers, the meatless burgers and the fries, and we'll build these buns. So as we can see, got a nice crispness on those fries, but great moisture, great colour on these patties. I'll just take the opportunity to cut one in half and show you straight away how they look. So there we go. Look at that moisture, phenomenal level of moisture. Really tasty, it's going to sit well in our built bun. So I'll just put this to one side and let's take a look at how our buns are toasting in our pan. That's all we need to do is just warm the edges. We've got a nice little element of toast there. And we'll build as away we go. So as we said, on the bottom, we'll go with our corn relish. And then our lettuce. And very quickly, a couple of slices of tomato, like so, on there, and on there. And we'll lift our meatless burger patties. And then we'll just top that with a little bit of red onion, just to give a great salad flavour. On the top. And then we'll take our burger sauce here and just put a little piece of that, a small amount, just move it around on the top of the bun. As you can see. Oh, excuse me. And I'll cut one and we'll plate one. So for the one we're going to plate, just make life a little easier. We'll cut it in half and open it to show you the build. We have a very, very simple icon burger, a classic burger using the Green Cuisine meatless burger patty. So we'll plate that up and serve it. Brilliant. So there we go. Fries through the oven, our Green Cuisine meatless burger patty through the oven with a nice build with a corn relish, fresh salad, a burger sauce, tomatoes, lettuce and onion, which gives us a great eat. Thank you very much. Please do send pictures, as we said in the previous segment. We'd love to see your noodles and we'd love to see your burger builds using this Green Cuisine product. Thank you very much. Goodbye.